Rev Katherine will be right back. She didn't have her microphone out. So we'll go ahead and get started. Today is a new day of beauty and joy and peace and love. Opportunities unfolding everywhere we look. When I look out into this room, I realize that we are on holy ground, and I see God in every face. And the words that unfold today, I hear the voice of God. And the music that we hear, I hear God. We are surrounded by the love and joy and peace of the divine. And as our service unfolds, I know that it unfolds with ease and grace. As we hear Rev Katherine speak to us about our lives, surrendering, creative, moving forward into new and beautiful journeys, I know that each of us is right where we need to be. Each of us is spoken to in our own special way. Each of us hears what needs to be heard. I am so grateful to be here with you today, sharing this service, sharing this community, sharing this love. I am grateful and I feel blessed. And so as our service unfolds and as we hear the words of courage and joy and love, I bless it. And I bless it and I let it be. So it is. Can we give some love to Backlog Recovery for today? I want to whisper, it's okay, you don't have to have too long of a prayer, I'm back. So I forgot to get my mic on today, so that's what happened to give me a Sunday off, and I got completely discombobulated, and we were sitting there, and I was like, I don't have my mic on. I was like, go get it. I'm like, okay. So, good morning, everyone. I'm Rev Katherine Economou, and it's my joy to welcome you here this morning to the Center for Spiritual Living. It's so wonderful to be together, isn't it? Yes, it is. It's so great to be coming back
back together, to be building our community again, to be spending time, and especially as we step into this holiday season, we are fully in it and really ready to, I don't know about you, but I'm really ready to celebrate it. Are you?
Yeah.
You know, after last year was kind of odd and weird, and it was sweet in its own quiet little way, and that was nice. But this year it's time, like, right? I feel it. It's like time. Let's do Christmas big. Let's do the holidays big. Let's feel it and celebrate it. There's so much joy. Even though there's challenges and all that stuff's going on, still life is going to be life. But if we pause and we remember that there's still great joy here for us, and this is one of the excuses we have to just surround ourselves with that, the beauty of the holiday decorations and the twinkly lights and all of the joy that comes through this season of giving and receiving, then it makes everything else a little bit easier to take. And so we are going to do the holidays big this year, and we're going to bring it into our Sundays and our celebrations and everything that we do, so that we can remember that this truly is a blessed moment, and that together we can get through anything. And so I'm very excited. I'm excited to welcome you this morning, and I'm excited to get started. And so I'm going to turn it back over.
That's right, we're going to sing together this morning, Joy to the World. I think you may have a printout of the words, so everybody stand together. Let's sing this together.
Lends her talents to decorating the space wherever we are. And so, like a little mouse, she comes in and does it, and she loves to do it and take care of it. So, Barb, we're so grateful for you. Thank you so much for making us beautiful. And so, this is our moment of gratitude. This is a spiritual practice that we've put into the service every week to just take a pause and to begin to really practice this on a daily basis. And we think that this practice is that important for everyone that we added it to the service every week. And so what I want you to do is get comfortable in your chair. This isn't going to hurt. It's just a couple of minutes here. Get comfortable in your chair. If you're comfortable closing your eyes, and just take a breath. You know, we close our eyes to turn away from the outside world, to turn within into that sanctuary within us, that safe space within. And today we're declaring this a safe, sacred space. Closing our eyes and connecting to the breath connects us instantly to the infinite part of our nature. We are alive by this connection to breathing, to the breath that nourishes us, that keeps us alive, that supports our physical bodies. And that essence, that presence that we connect to is the divine. That's God itself, right there, right where your breath is. So we are truly never alone. And so on this day, as we move into a space of gratitude, let us move into the holiday season here, and I want you to call forth one of your warmest, most joyful holiday memories. I want you to remember a time that was warm and bright, where you felt connected. Just breathing into that, I want you to go into the feeling, why you felt so good in that moment was how your reaction to it, that feeling. Did you feel at peace? Were you excited? Did you feel safe? Did you feel loved? Whatever that was. I want you to just hold on to that. Just allow some gratitude for that, because that feeling is the seed that we're going to plant for your intentions for this holiday season. So just allow your gratitude for having that one moment, and maybe it was just a moment, maybe it was a whole experience, maybe it's something you feel all the time. It doesn't matter, even if you had just a glimpse of it. Just allow the gratitude for feeling that joy, that love to grow within you, to expand. Because it's alive right where you are now. Even though that happened before, this is happening now. And so there is peace here now. And there is joy here now for you. And there's love here now for you. And let us be grateful for that. One more nice full breath. Planting that seed. And when you're ready, come on back. We open our eyes and look around the room, aware, awake, present to this joyful moment. All right. And so with that, I'm going to invite Pat Clark to give us our reading for today.
Our reading for today is from 365 Days of Richer Living by Ernest Holmes and Raymond Charles Barker. Life makes me conscious of my responsibilities. The creative process, which gave me life, expects me to use it rightly. I turn confidently to the source of my being and let it reveal why I am here and what it has planned for me to do. The life of which gave me birth must know how to produce in me and through me what it has in mind. I am not an accident of birth. My appearance in these times is part of a divine plan and a divine design. In my present world, right where I am, I have a mission and a purpose. I now let the mind, which created me out of itself, reveal to me my purpose and what I should do today. And the minutest details of today, I shall fulfill the reason for my being. I accept my responsibility to think rightly about myself, my fellow man, and the world in which I live. Within me, great ideas are being born, and I let them manifest in my mind, body, and affairs. I do not pollute them with fear or doubt. I see them as divine in origin and possible in expression. There is so much that is heavenly and perfect in my life. I see this, believe this, and increase this as I accept the responsibility to act and react as a spiritual being. I find all life cooperating with me. No more strain to succeed. No more trying to make things happen. My right place is always where I am, and my right work is to do the will of Him who sent me. Freely, I I give my whole mind over to the divine wisdom and the divine power. And so it is.
that for me, right? That's why we do this, to get ready for this. So, I'm so glad to see you. I'm so glad to be with you this morning and to welcome our friends online and say good morning to everyone who's joining us via Facebook Live. We're just grateful to be together. You know, we're starting a new theme this month, is Journey of Becoming. And it's the last month in the theme that we've been working on for the year, which is Timeless Wisdom, Evolutionary Vision. So that's what we've been working on, is how, and the focus has been how we can take the timeless spiritual wisdom that we've been gifted, the science of mind philosophy that pulls on all the ancient traditions and lots of different philosophies, and how can we take that gift of that timeless wisdom and put it into practice in a new way, which is the evolutionary vision. And life is calling us to do that, right? Like, life has really just said, you better figure out a new way to do life, and this is what we need. You need a new vision, and we're all working on trying to get our visions, yes?
Yeah.
So that's what we've been working on this year, and I love that this last part of this theme is Journey of Becoming. I love that it's about becoming, because it's not about getting somewhere. It's not about getting to that final destination and saying, look, I got all my stuff together, all's well that ends well, you know. No. It's about constantly evolving, constantly revealing more of who you are, constantly becoming more of yourself. I truly believe that we come into this life not to do something amazing or fix something or any of that, but to unpeel all the layers that's not who we are, so that we can share the truth of our being freely. So we can stop trying to be something for someone else. We can stop trying to get approval of someone by changing who we are, so that they will not be afraid of our greatness, or that they will not be intimidated by our power, where they will not, try to make us feel bad for being who we are. Our goal in this life is to be ourselves, without question, without, I lost the word. I'll let that one go. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah. So it's all about becoming. It really is all about becoming. And I love that they put it this way, because as we're moving towards the winter solstice, right? Like, everything that's happening right now in the world is like moving us towards the solstice. Even our Christmas celebrations, if you're keeping an Advent, which is preparing for the coming of the Christ, coming of that new light. If you're practicing for your keeping a solstice, which means to move into the spirit of the thing, to move into the spirit of the holiday. So honoring the dark as the days get shorter and the nights get longer, keeping the lights off and lighting candles, sitting by the fireside, wrapping yourselves in warm blankets and reading by, the lower light. Don't do it that much, because you need to see. We want your eyes to be well, so don't read by firelight, but you know what I mean. And so the idea that everything in these holidays are making us move within, just like all of nature's moving within, just like we are being called to move within and to be faced with ourselves. And that's what happens when we close our eyes, when we go within, when we start to do our meditations, when we stop moving, throwing ourselves out into the outer world. We are faced with ourselves. And then we have to decide, okay, have I really been my true self this year? Have I allowed myself to be me? Have I allowed myself to honor my wants and needs? Have I allowed myself to want what I want, to move in the direction that I'm feeling called? Have I allowed myself to listen to that inner guidance, that voice that's speaking, that I know, you're telling me something and I just am not ready to hear it? I do hear it though. You hear it, don't you? This is a time for us to listen to that voice. And this is a time for us to be present with what's wanting to come forward. And so, at each solstice, that few days of stillness, that pause between the dwindling light and then when the days start to lengthen, what happens is this is that time to sit and be with ourselves. Now the challenge is, and this is why I do this talk, almost a similar theme talk at this Sunday every year, and it's because I want to encourage all of us, but mostly I want to remind myself that it's really easy to get swept up in the busyness of the doing of the holidays. it's so easy to get swept up in the, oh my God, all the things I have to buy, and my bills are piling up, and all the cooking I gotta do, and the house is a mess, and we're having this party, and all of that. And that is so easy to be the fullness of the totality of your holiday. That happens really easily. We have to take a stand for the holiday and say, I am not going to allow myself to go beyond what is acceptable and appropriate for me, because the true meaning of the holiday is to connect with that inner spirit, the spirit of the holiday, preparing for the coming of the Christ. That's what Christmas is about. What is the Christ? The Christ is that light, that new revelation, that new understanding. Christ represents that divine wholeness and purity of your being that wants to be born in you and as you. And so as we walk through this, as we take our time and move into the spirit of things, we want to welcome the birth of that new light. So today I'm talking about the process of becoming, the journey of becoming through surrender. Through the spiritual practice of surrender. Now, what surrender is, and I know these are kind of not, they're really powerful experiences, but they're not fun topics like in terms of the words, like, oh, we're going to talk about surrender. That's not fun. But let me tell you, it is actually fun. These things are those things that jazz me up when I start to read about them and listen to them and think about sharing them with you, because if we could do this, our lives would be so much better. And I really want us to get that there's joy here for us, and that there's support here for us, and we are sitting here struggling like 2-year-olds trying to get our jackets on. Have you ever helped a 2-year-old get a jacket on or a sweater on? And I want to do it myself. Okay, fine, you try it, go ahead. And then they're kind of half in. Can you imagine the turtleneck, their arms out the head, and their heads trying to go through the arm? And that's what we are doing when we are struggling against our life. And God is sitting there patiently saying, you can do it. I could help you if you want. You could let me, but you got to surrender. See, it's fun. The idea of looking at it in a new way, because we could struggle against our life. We could absolutely try to hold on to, what's the word I'm going for? Control. Because we have this idea that we can control our lives. And we have this idea that we're in charge of it. And that we have this idea that in order to feel safe, in order to feel okay, in order to function normally, I have to control all the different aspects of my life. Well, I hate to break it to you. There's very little you can control. There's very little that we can control in our lives. But the good news is, when we practice surrender, when we allow ourselves to surrender into the moment, this is what is. Something magical happens. And there's this whoosh, this up level of energy that moves into your experience and starts to carry you, if you let it. Someone will show up in your circle who has that exact information that you need, and you don't know how that happened. Somebody is in line behind you in Starbucks talking about their, whatever it is that you're questioning. Oh my goodness, how is that possible? It's because we surrender and allow life to support us. Instead of saying, I have to do it all myself, I have to figure it out, I don't want to be seen as not knowing what I'm doing, I don't want to be judged, who cares if you're judged? Who cares what somebody else thinks of you? It doesn't matter. You matter. Your presence, your heart, your life matters. And becoming more of yourself is the whole idea here. And so, what happens when we practice surrendering and allowing what is, and I loved that you chose let it be, it was perfect. When we can let it be, what happens is we start to move into a place where we let go of that sense of separation and we start living from a place of connection. Now we have this teaching, I don't usually do it on Sundays, but we have this teaching called the kingdoms of consciousness, where it's a 4 stages of consciousness. And it moves from being a victim to that 2-year-old, I can do it myself. Let me do it myself. To stage 3, where the divine God moves through us, that we are a channel. It's not me, but God through me. And then into stage 4, which is as me, which is you and God are one presence. There's no separation, and everything that's happening is spirit in action. So when we can truly experience surrender, we're moving towards 3 and 4. And that's where you want to get. You want to get out of victim. You want to get out of having to do it yourself, right? That's still a lot of work. And then moving into that place where we're living in communion with the Spirit. Because when we can live in communion with the Spirit, then those synchronicities happen. Then those joys show up. Then those possibilities open. And we move into a place of building our faith. That's what living from faith means. When you can realize that there's something greater happening here. That there's a presence that loves me, that wants the goodness for me, and I should start listening to it. You know, maybe I should pick up that phone when God calls. Because that's a good one to answer. What is life trying to tell you about you? Because sometimes we only see those negative things. We don't see all the people who are loving you, all the people who are wanting to support you, all the people who see who you truly are, all the people that resonate with you on a deep level. Your people, our people. That's why we love being together, is because we can see each other for the truth of who we are. So today is the last day of Hanukkah, right? I think it's the 8th day of Hanukkah. And so, there's a part of that in this story. The oil from that lasted 8 days. After the Jewish people rebuilding their temple accepted that it was only going to last for one. They thought they only had enough oil for one night, for one day. But they lit that lamp anyways. And rather than trying to stretch the oil or try and figure out what to do or impose their own will, they let go to the reality, okay, guys, we got one day. Well, here we go. And it miraculously lasted for 8. When we accept what is, then we open to allowing things to unfold a little differently. Because we allow God into the situation. So, this whole idea of control, we try to make ourselves safe. We try to convince ourselves that, that there isn't danger. I had an experience of this week, which was really so funny to me. I personally like to meditate. I have a meditation garden on the side of our house that looks out over a little orchard that we have out into the west side of the house. And I like to sit at the sliding glass door on the floor and look out, and that's where I like to do my meditation. And I was getting prepped to do it this week on one of the mornings, and it was a glorious, beautiful day, right? We've had some spectacular, cool, bright, lovely days. And I was like getting ready, and I just felt, I opened the door just a little bit so I had just enough cool, and I was like perfectly set, and I was getting myself set. And I went to sit down, and I took a couple of deep breaths, and then all of a sudden my phone dinged. And I was like, okay, well, I'm not really meditating yet. Maybe I should go check that phone first so then I can really be present. Okay, so I went and I got up and I went to get my phone and I checked my phone. And it was my neighbor who lives right there. And she said, Catherine, I just want to let you know that my husband just saw a mountain lion across the fence in your yard. Oh. Right where I was looking. And I'm like, Okay, so here I am, feeling completely safe and wonderful and joyful in my yard, in the place where I love, and there is a mountain lion walking around in my yard. And so what it said to me, I just started laughing, because I started to work on this talk, and I was like, okay, God, thanks for the story. But what it reminded me is that the danger's always outside the door. We don't know, right? We don't know what is around us. In life, life is fraught with danger. It is. But does that mean that we're not safe? Does that mean, now, granted, I'm not going to go lay down in the culvert and wait for it. It's not like I'm not going to do that, right? But am I going to freak out about this? I'm not. Because that mountain lion's probably been hanging out in my yard for a while. Or it's moving through, or whatever. That's not my job. I'm going to keep my dog safe. I made sure my chickens were taken care of. Don't worry, everybody's fine. But what it really reminded me of is, what am I going to do? Am I going to go into the fear and the panic of what could possibly happen? Or am I going to realize that I've lived in this place for this long, and I'm going to stand in the power and the presence of the one that has me there, that I am safe? Right? We are always faced with that. And we could live completely in fear, or we could start to build our faith. And as we start to build our faith is creative itself, and then it creates more safety for ourselves when you live in alignment with God. So it's about reminding ourselves that we need space for the divine. You know, when we get into a place where we get reactive, when someone judges us and we get reactive or we get defensive or all those things, those are ego responses. Our egos do not like to be dinged. Our egos do not like to be bumped up against. We really like to just not have that happen, right? It's uncomfortable. And even for those who put themselves out there big in the world, it's still hard. Ego stuff is really challenging. And our egos are important to us because they allow us to get out of bed in the morning. Our egos are really important. Our personalities and our egos support us in doing the work we need to do out in the world. But when the ego gets too inflated or too sensitive, what happens is it doesn't leave enough space for God. So I love that saying where it says the ego is edging God out. When you are having an ego reaction, when you're having an ego response to something, you are not leaving enough space for God in your life. And so the idea here of what I'm talking about in terms of surrendering and moving into this holiday season of becoming who you've come here to be, the only way you can do that is by creating more space for the divine. Letting God in more deeply is the key to everything. The past couple of years, what I've realized in my counseling and teaching and as we've faced all the challenges we've faced over the last number of years is that the answer to most of this is creating more space for God in our day-to-day lives. It really is. It's creating a space for being intentional and inviting the divine into our day-to-day lives. And when we can do that, when we can realize that life is sacred, when we can start our day with connection, breathing and connecting and realizing we're part of something greater, and then we can walk through the day and bless people when we see them, knowing that no matter if you're just passing by them on the highway, sending them a little blessing of peace or a blessing of prosperity or of joy. May you find some happiness on this day as you kind of walk through your day. You can even say it silently in your head. You don't say it to everybody out loud, but you could do that. That connects you to the spirit, right? And then when you end your day, taking a couple of moments to think about those things that you were grateful for and sending some blessings out of gratitude, that is creating space for God in your life. And it doesn't take a whole lot of time and a whole lot of effort. But what that does is it infuses you with a different quality of being that's going to allow you to create from that place. Because think about creating your life from a place of connection or creating your life from a place of feeling out of control and in fear. Which one do you want to live? Because you've got a choice. We've got a choice to allow our minds to go on either direction. And yes, it is really hard when we get faced with something. Again, seeing another school shooting this week wrecked me, and especially since it happened right down the street from where I was last week. The day after we left broke my heart. And I have a chance to, how am I going to react here? I'm going to choose God in this. I'm going to know that something's coming forward. I'm going to know that there's peace and comfort for all of those families. I'm going to know that this is purposeful, that it's going to bring something new in the world. We are called to face the darkness with faith. We're called to do it in this month as we're moving towards the solstice. I was thinking about that too. I was thinking about how, this morning when I was driving in, I was thinking about what it must have been like. Back before we knew what the calendar looked like, back before people understood that the world, turned and we were in orbit around the sun and all of that. What those ancient peoples, when the sun went below the horizon, especially in those places in the world when it really goes below the horizon for a long time. What it must have been like. As I was driving over, and it was a little bit sunny this morning when the fog was lifting as I came from Fallbrook. And I was thinking, well, maybe they didn't. They must have known. There was never a time when they didn't know. was talking to myself like that. Catherine, there was never a time that they didn't know that the sun wasn't going to come back. And I instantly went over the hill into the fog. And I went into a place where I had visibility, and I went into a place where I had zero visibility for about 2 miles coming over that hill. And I went, whoa, slow down. I was like, okay, God, I got it. So many times in our lives we go into something and we don't know how we're going to get out of it. So many times maybe it's a health challenge, maybe it's a financial thing, maybe it's a rocky moment in a relationship. You move into a challenge and you don't know how long it's going to last, and you don't know how you're going to get out of it. That's like going into that fog. That's like that sun going below the horizon. Do we have faith enough to know that, yes, it might be hard right now, yes, it might be bad right now, yes, it's what it is right now, but I know that sun is burning off that fog. I know that the earth keeps turning and that sun is going to come back over the horizon. I know that it's going to return. Where in you can you know that? Where in you can you realize that you are so supported that even when you hit that rocky thing, even when you hit that rocky moment, that question, and you don't know where it's heading, can you rest and trust? So that's what this season's about. This season's about preparing ourselves to get ready for a new awakening. The season's about moving within to close out this past year and get prepared for the next one. And however much you allow yourselves to keep the Christmas, to keep the holiday season, to keep the Hanukkah, to keep the solstice, to keep the Advent, whatever holiday you want to resonate with, as you can resonate and align yourself to the true meaning of that, you can allow it to work within you. You can allow it to be the gift to you. That you can have that new awakening on Christmas morning. That you can have that new joy and that new bright light of awareness, of inspiration, of guidance. And we can only do that when we create more space for God and we allow ourselves to be intentional. And so I thought it would be really fun this year to participate in our intentional Christmas. So you got a tag when you came in, I hope, and if not, you can raise your hand and my friends in the back can get you one maybe. Bonnie, we've got someone up here that needs one, and over here too. Thank you guys. They'll bring you one. And so, so we're going to put these on the Christmas tree. We're going to decorate our Christmas tree with our intentions. And so I'm going to guide you through this here for a second. So I just want you to close your eyes one more time. And take a breath. And maybe you want to pull up that holiday memory that we did in our moment of gratitude. Maybe you want to pull up, maybe there's a challenge you're faced with right now. And you want to just ask your higher self, what is it that's wanting to be born out of this? What is it that wants to be revealed through this situation or this challenge? What is it that my heart wants to experience this holiday season? Maybe it's connection with those who can truly see one another. Maybe it's peace. Oh, that peace and comfort. Maybe it's the light of a new idea. Joy, the love. What is it that you want to experience? And knowing that as you experience it, as you embody these divine concepts, you give the gift of it to the world. So you're gifting the world by embodying it, by embracing it. And so when you're ready and you have your idea, you can write it on your card. And when we finish the service, you can come up and decorate the tree with it. And we're going to decorate our tree with all of our intentions for our holiday season this year. Yes? Yes? Yes. So this is what I want you to know. You are the gift of God. You have the gift of God. And you are the light shining in the darkness here. And so when you feel like you're alone, I want you to remember that you're not, and find a way to connect. Because that is the moment that God wants to reveal to you the gift that you are. And so it is. Happy December, everybody! Okay, so let's invite Danielle and Randy back up. And we're kind of getting into the feeling of the season again and that rhythm of spiritual community. And so we are so grateful to be moving in this direction, and we are grateful that we are participating together financially. So whether you hit that donate button on our website or send in your offering, and we're grateful for those who sent in their offerings, or send it to us, give it to us in person, we are just grateful that we are joining together to build something healing, inspiring, and filled with love for one another. And so we are grateful. I will invite you to take your offering and place it upon your heart and let us breathe our light and our love into it, knowing that this is the divine gift of the one. Spirit moves and breathes itself into being through all and as all, and reveals itself unto each of us. And this gift goes to that which we believe in. We give back to that place where we're inspired, where we're spiritually fed, knowing that we are part of this divine, expansive unfoldment of this life. And all of it is God. And so we can't outgive God, but we can open to receiving the infinite divine source and support of the one itself. So I bless it, I give thanks for it, and allow it to be. And so it is. Please join me in saying our affirmation of abundance together. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am prosperous now. Yes.
God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings, God gives me everything I need. Love is my source, love is my power, love gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings, love gives me everything I need. God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings, love gives me everything I need.
Yay. All right, so I have a few announcements for you. So I just want to invite you, as soon as we're done with service, if you want to come up and put your tags up, please do. I invite you to do that. So let's see, our Science Mind book study is ongoing on Wednesdays from 10 to 10 o'clock. Please contact Julie Nims or Ann Woodward for more information. Our men's ministry meets Wednesdays, both online and in person at Journey's Restaurant. You want to talk to Reverend Michael about that. Our Sisters in Spirit group meets on the third Thursday of the month at 9 a.m. in person at the Journey's Restaurant. And Julie Nims is coordinating that communication. So if you have questions about that, you want to contact her. She's one of our practitioners. Our CSL TV Community Connection continues on Wednesday evenings at 7 o'clock on Zoom. It's funny, we're getting on, it's just a few, I'm on it and sometimes another practitioner leads it. It's been a small group, but this is an ongoing thing and I'm really happy with it. So we get on and we just talk about spiritual things. We talk about the Sunday talk and how to put it into practice. We talk about kind of what's going on and we do some spiritual practice together. And so I really want to invite you, if you haven't done it, and you're sitting around on a Wednesday night, come on and hang out with, it's kind of like hanging with the Rev is what we used to call it, right, on Thursdays in person. So it's kind of like hanging with the Rev online. So come join me sometime, it'd be fun. Let's see. The Gifts of Spirit will be meeting on December 14th at 6:30 in the home of Ann Woodward. She says we'll hold a short business meeting followed by a group gifts share. You're invited to share what you are working on, your creativity, a song, a story, a craft, a poem, musical talent, photography, a painting, reading out of a book you are writing, or just come and support those who are sharing. Our gifts were meant to be shared. So life is wonderful. Come join in and experience the creative process. So if you want to jump into that, please see Ann Woodward. So we are starting our holiday giving program. So CSL TV's adopted 2 families this year. One is a single dad in Lake Elsinore who's got 4 kids. And the other is a single mom in Murrieta with 2 children. And so we have their wish lists on the table across the breezeway there. And we'd like to offer gifts to make their holiday bright this year. So we are collecting either gift cards, financial donations, or the actual gifts. And we're collecting them over the next 2 Sundays, and then they'll be delivered right around the 20th. So that's why we've got next Sunday and the 19th. So we've got the 12th and the 19th, and then to collect for it, and then that week of Christmas we're going to deliver the gifts. And the idea is that we're going to deliver the gifts to the parent so that they can give their children a holiday, right? And we can decide if we want to do decorations and a tree also. If someone's inspired to do a little bit more, that's great. But we just want to make sure that we, support, do some good in the world around Christmas, and we kind of like to do the personal touch piece of it. So that's what we're doing this year. And I am actually also looking for someone to help coordinate this, to stand up and kind of help own it and do some of the coordination. So if you're inspired to help with that, come see me after service. So we have a number of holiday experiences coming up I want to tell you about. You can watch the emails that come out and check our website because everything's getting put up there. So our first is the Remembrance Service. This is an annual, it's a sweet service that I do every year. And what happens, I think, is that when we hit the holidays, for those of us who have lost people either this year or in the, it doesn't matter when you've lost someone, it gets a little extra tender at the holidays. It's a little harder. One of the things that I've done for the last 20 years is this service when I was at Seaside and when I'm here. And what it is it's a sweet little memorial service where we just take some time to light some candles, share some memories, and recognize and honor their presence in our lives. And I find that what happens is when you give space for your heart to just speak to the missing, the grief, speak to the experience you're having, then everything else lessens a little bit. Your holidays are a little less sad. You kind of put your love in the context of the fullness of life, right? And so this is something that we've moved online, actually. So it's going to take place on Wednesday, December 15th at 7 p.m. So that's the week that we won't have the community connection. And it'll be on Zoom, and the link will be in all the emails and on the website. And what I invite people to do when we do it online is just to have a candle and a picture of the person or a few people that you're missing. And when it's your turn, you can light your candle and you can show the picture and you can share a memory. And it's really lovely. And I encourage everybody, and if you've lost someone this year or if you know someone, this is such a lovely experience. So I encourage you to invite them to join us. Then we are doing Sunday, December 19th, our Diversity and Inclusion Committees presenting our first offering here, and it's the Winter Holidays Around the World Party that we are doing on December 19th right after service. And so this is really fun. What we're doing is we're putting together tables of all the different holidays that explain what they are. So I know we're doing solstice. I think Gifts of Spirit is doing solstice. We're doing Kwanzaa and Hanukkah and I said solstice, and there's like 5 or 6 of them that we're doing from all sorts of different, Bodhi Day is one of them, and I can't think of the other ones right now. But so the idea is that we're going to have experiences, and we're going to get to learn about all these other different holidays, and we're going to have a potluck where we're encouraging you to bring your favorite holiday tradition from your youth, so that we can celebrate not only the traditions of the different holidays, but we can celebrate the different Christmas traditions that we've grown up with. And I will tell you, the baklava is coming on the 19th. Because the Greek girl is bringing the baklava on the 19th. So this sounds fun, right? We were trying to figure out some fun thing we could do as our holiday party this year. So stay for a little while. You can play dreidel with me. I got a lot of gelt. We're going to have some fun, and learn. We'll learn and eat and have a great, joyful afternoon together. So that's the 19th. Our candlelight service, our annual big holiday service, is December 23rd at 7 p.m. in person and on Facebook Live. Ann Woodward, again, is leading the World Peace Meditation on December 31st at 4 a.m. God bless you. In this room, 4 a.m. here. Have fun. And then the last thing we do, so then I have the Burning Bowl service is, I do that will be in service on January 2nd. We do a Burning Bowl every year, kind of at the end to the beginning of the year. And so we're going to close everything out and let go of everything that we want to, burn everything we want to let go of, and move into the new year clear. And the last thing I want to share is that our own Danielle Tucker is part of this incredible band called the Mighty Untouchables. And they are having a free public concert that December 19th at 5:30 p.m. at Ronald Reagan Sports Park here in Temecula. Yeah, isn't that great? And it's going to be a really fun concert. And then they're on at 5:30, and right after their set are fireworks at 7:45. So Ronald Reagan Park, December 19th, 5:30, we'll have our party here, and then we'll all go over to the concert. That'll be super fun. How about that? Okay, great. A lot's happening this season. So we're so excited to be back in person, to be celebrating together. And so with that, let's go into our time of prayer here, and I invite you to close your eyes. Let's take a breath together. So how good it is. How good it is to pause and to remember the Infinite One. That divine source of light and life that is God itself. And so I breathe into the center moment, knowing that this one is the presence of love, that it is the presence of light and joy. And it reveals itself in all, as all, and is absolutely here in this breath, in this moment, at the core of our being. And so from this oneness, I know that each of us shines our unique light into the world. And letting go of any filter, letting go of any holding back, I know we shine brightly in our own unique ways. And letting go of trying to control or manipulate, let us surrender into that absolute source and support of the one. Let us breathe into that comfort and peace in knowing that Spirit has our backs. That it is surrounding us with the goodness and the blessings of the infinite. And so I know that this week is filled with opportunities to see and to know Spirit in our day-to-day lives. I know that this is a week of surrendering anything that no longer serves us and letting go of those situations that hold us back and move into that place of communion and connection and allowing not only that what is, but that which is to become, as we are constantly becoming more and more of who we have come here to be. And so I bless this day, I bless these connections, I bless this joy, knowing that we move into this day with light, with love, and that spirit of this season, knowing, absolutely knowing the coming of that Christ light within us. And so with a grateful heart, I simply surrender my word, allowing it to be, and so it is. Amen.
There was a time in my life I thought I had to do it all for myself. I didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. I didn't know the love of God was at hand. But now I can say, if you are discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, you've got to let it go. And this is what you've got to say: I release and I let go. I let the Spirit No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God.
Alright, before we close, I'm going to remind you that we have coffee and snacks in the social hall. Please come and join us and hang out with us. And I know that as we step forth in this week, we simply allow the becoming to happen with ease and with grace, and so it is. Happy Sunday, everybody.